It is June 14th, 2018. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. I'd been calling out the out of my cold dead hands people for a little while now, ever since I was made aware of what was going on up in Deerfield, Illinois. Well, it would seem like those folks just narrowly escaped a bullet, no pun intended, because a judge had stepped in and blocked that law from going into effect. Now, I believe the law is still there. I believe the concern should still be there. I think folks need to demand that law be taken off the books totally, along with all the other locations in the United States that similar laws have been put on the books. Whether they're being blocked or not isn't so much the issue. They need to be removed from the books, because if those blocks are overturned, as I said in another video, there's going to be a bunch of problems real quick. However, not time to sound the all clear, because an article came out, and up there in the wonderful Chicago, they are facing confiscation in another area. But what's interesting is who the article said is willingly going to go do the confiscation. And this is something that I have been telling people for probably over a decade now. Okay? Folks, come on. At some point, no matter how uncomfortable the reality is, we have to face it. Okay? There is no escaping that. You can only pull those covers over your heads for so long. If there's a boogeyman in the room, those covers are not going to stop them. So let's go on over to the article. I'll put the link to the article in the description of the video. This is coming out of the Chicago Tribune. Cook County Sheriff's Office will enforce assault weapons ban in Northbrook, officials say. Sheriff's Office, folks, they are your last line of defense. They are the ones that are supposed to uphold the Constitution no matter what. No matter what. They're the ones that you should be able to go to if your local authorities are out of line. Because again, the sheriff's office is the final line of the law. What do you do now? What do you do now? It's time we face this uncomfortable truth, folks. To the article. Cook County Sheriff's Office police officers will enforce the county's assault weapons ban in the village of Northbrook, according to village president Sander Frum. After listening to comments from 7 people regarding the ban, also known as the Blair Holt assault weapons ban, Frum read a statement announcing that the village staff is determined that Cook County officials will be responsible for enforcing the ban in Northbrook. 7 people, folks. Based on meetings that our village attorney and staff had with the Cook County Sheriff's Office, we have been advised by the Sheriff's Office that its police department will take primary responsibility for enforcement of the ordinance within Northbrook, and the Cook County State's Attorney will be responsible for prosecution of the Cook County Blair Holt Act violations from Red. In April, the board was presented with options for regulating firearms, which included potentially enforcing Cook County assault weapons ban in the village. At that meeting, the board directed staff to draft ordinances banning the sale and possession of bump stocks, banning the sale and possession of assault weapons with magazines that fire more than 10 rounds, amending the village's liquor code to prohibit concealed carry firearms for businesses with liquor licenses, and to look into how the village could enforce the Cook County assault weapons ban. In May, the board approved 2 ordinances banning the sale and possession of bump stocks and similar accessories, and banning concealed carry in the establishments that serve liquor within the village. Northbrook Village Attorney Steve Elrod said at the May meeting that Cook County assault weapons ban is applicable and enforceable in Northbrook because both are home rule municipalities. The laws of Cook County are fully applicable within a home rule unit located within Cook County unless the home rule municipality adopts an ordinance conflicting with the county ordinance, thus opting out of the applicability of the county ordinance, Elrod previously said. The ban could be enforced by the village, Cook County, or both, Elrod said. After researching the ban, Elrod said he learned that Cook County has never enforced and is not enforcing the assault weapons ban that is currently on the books. Elrod said he met with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office representatives to talk about Northbrook's options for enforcing the ban, and he hoped to get some advice. They simply were not and have not been enforcing the ordinance. Therefore, there is no historical practice, no procedural guidance, Elrod previously said. So basically, we would be starting from scratch. In an interview Wednesday, Cook County Sheriff's Office Chief Police Officer Kara Smith said the office does enforce the ban by determining if a confiscated assault weapon is evidence in another case. And if it isn't, it is destroyed. You hear that? Destroyed. The Cook County Sheriff's Office staff has offered to meet with the Northbrook Police Department to develop protocols for Northbrook police officers to use to notify the sheriff if we discover or determine that the possible violation has occurred from said. The meeting will take place in the next several weeks from said. Smith confirmed that the sheriff's office is in communication with Northbrook officials about enforcing the ban in the village. I don't think it's going to be very complicated. We'll look at communication between Northbrook Police Department and our office, Smith said. In an email Wednesday, a representative from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office and the responsibilities of the office include prosecution of county ordinance violations. The board did not discuss the ordinance after Frum read the statement. Frum said the board will not discuss the ban at upcoming meetings. See, now it's off the table. Now you can't even discuss it, right? They love to do it that way. Before Frum read the statement, 7 people addressed the board, with 4 people speaking against and 3 people speaking in favor of enforcing the ordinance in Northbrook. You hear that, folks? Something that there should have been thousands of people there for. Thousands, tens of thousands. They shouldn't have in any way had enough room in their building to hold the people that had something to say. This is what we're coming to. Because we're ready to throw our brothers and sisters under the bus. We don't give a damn as long as it don't affect us personally. Right? That's the problem. And just like I said in Deerfield, I guarantee you there are people here that are against this. There's probably a lot of people being silent that are against this. I mean, come on. Look at the country we live in now. If you speak the truth, if you speak up, if you stand up for yourself, look at what you have to deal with. Right now, these folks need good folks. Good God-fearing, common sense-loving folks to help them. Now I'm going to ask again. Where are the out of my cold dead hands people? That's what I want to know. Where are they? So tough when there wasn't a battle to be fought. Now they're so silent when the reality of it hits. And how about all the people that would stand up and, support the blue line, support the blue line. The blue line is the one that's taking them. Like I've said before, we need to sit down and have a dialogue now. We need to get this understanding now. Civilly, calmly, at a table. Because I don't think any of us wants the next step, and I don't think any of us... I just don't know how a lot of people are going to deal, what's going to come in this country. Because I see the writing on the wall. And we often wait until it's way, way too late before we do anything. And we've already done that. It's already too late. My hope is that through civil discourse, through good, honest conversation, through good people that's not willing to budge, but diplomatic enough to talk, we can change what is obviously going to be history repeating itself. These people are disgusting sellouts. Man, I'll finish the article. Before Frum read the statement, 7 people... Oh, I read that, sorry. Those who spoke against enforcing the ordinance said it will negatively impact law-abiding citizens and urged the board to focus on protecting schools instead. I want to protect our kids. Right now, anybody can walk into our schools, said Northbrook resident Boris Potsy. You really need to focus on that. Instead of focusing on law-abiding citizens, let's focus on trying to stop people who actually have intent to commit harm. Yeah, I mean, the law-abiding citizen having a firearm in their home isn't the one you need to worry about. It's the crazy lunatic that's going to get a gun however they're going to get a gun. It doesn't matter. They're not going to go through the proper channels. They're not going to do it the legal route. Last I checked, murder was illegal. I don't get this liberal mindset. Nor do I get the sheep that follow it. Liberals aren't the only ones that have sheep, by the way. I've been trying to warn about who it was that's going to be doing the enforcing and the confiscation and all that. I've been warning about that. Just as long as I've been warning about them banning guns. Time to wake up to the uncomfortable truth of the matter. And it's happening. It's unfolding right in front of our eyes. Those who spoke in favor in enforcing the ordinance referenced the Stoneman Douglas High School and Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings as examples of the ordinance could help prevent. How? How is that going to help prevent it? Okay? How is that going to help prevent it? So Sandy Hook. Let's talk about Sandy Hook. Let's go with the official narrative, which I think is absolute bullshit, but let's go with the official narrative. So the official narrative is that he got the firearms out of his mother's gun safe. Now, how did that happen? How did that happen? His mother was found dead. So, did he force her to give up her keys to the gun safe? Did he know where the key was and steal it? Are either of those things legal? Okay. So let's say if she didn't even have the guns in her home for him to have stolen or whatever. He's saying that he couldn't have found one. Couldn't have gone out on the black market. There ain't no way he could have found one. I wonder if he could have found a kitchen knife. You think he could have found a kitchen knife? I do. Folks, this is liberal lunacy. Thinking that we're going to stop this by banning firearms. You ever heard the saying, a cat's out of the bag? There are so many firearms out there in this country, it's unbelievable. And on top of that, it's not that hard to make one. It is not hard to make an improvised device that can shoot gun shells. What is that? 3/4 inch inside diameter piece of steel pipe? Little bit of wood shaped up. And you got yourself a single shot 12 gauge? I mean, anybody that puts their mind to it is going to be able to do it. And if you prevent firearms of any kind, if you ban the sale of ammunition so there's no ammunition, guess what? There's still a ton of things that you can use to cause harm. And not just the kitchen knives. Are you going to ban cars? This is stupid. Why don't we actually address the issue? Maybe if we would address the issue, which I think a lot of it falls back on government and their policies and their regulations and their foot on our necks, then maybe it'll get a little bit better. That's not going to happen until we pull the cover off of our heads and face the monster. And we don't have to do that in a violent way. It doesn't have to be bloodshed. It doesn't have to be war. We can do it with civil discourse, but people have to pull their heads out of their ass and recognize the problem. Admit to the problem. You know, with people that support this partisan politics, it's almost like drug addicts. In denial. It really is. Not much difference. Anyway, the last paragraph says, I think you know how the community feels about the issue. They're saying unequivocally to you, please do something. Northbrook resident Jojo Hebel said, I implore you to do whatever you can and do it soon. I think we would all like to see something done. But we need to see the right things done. Not this liberal lunacy that's taken us down a dangerous path now for way, way too long. And I'm not saying that we should beat down the conservative path either, because that's just about as demented. Maybe not on the Second Amendment side of things, but on the economic side of things, I mean, it's, and I'm not supporting socialism and all that. I'm not supporting the left side's ideas on economics. I support common sense, and that's why I don't support conservatives or liberals, because I support common sense. And I find that falls in between the two. Anyway, folks, it ain't over. Hell, it hadn't even gotten started yet.